Here we are. We got a 2001 Pontiac Grand Prix GTP today, and we're experiencing some issues. So I'm gonna do a little diagnostics work to get to the bottom of this. Let's take a gander here. So you'll see this has got this fancy digital instrument cluster up here. It shows you your supercharger boost, tells you your doors are open, gives you your miles per gallon, all that good stuff. So the issue that we're facing here, the radio digital readout has been broken the whole time. I don't think that's related, but it could be potentially. But here's the big issue. Let's watch what happens. You see this gauge readout? I'm gonna turn the blower motor on. It's gone. I also have no blower motor at 5, 4, 3, 2, or 1. I have no blower motor whatsoever. Now, also kills your digital readout. And I haven't gone up and checked, but I've also heard that it possibly could be affecting the daytime running lights as well. So what's funny is you'll see I've already torn apart this side, and it's really easy. I'll show you how to do that if it comes down to it. But upon digging, obviously you would just assume the blower motor or the blower motor resistor is out. And I was gonna dig it out, remove the whole thing, do some testing, figure out if it's one, the other, or both. Then I came across something super interesting. Turns out, on these here Pontiacs, this entire circuit is related to your ignition switch. Obviously, you don't get accessory power without your ignition switch, but it appears that it's independent. So there's multiple power out wires off your ignition switch, and one of them controls just that circuit independently. And it's known to have a bunch of problems. So we're gonna actually start by getting underneath here and checking the wiring harness on this ignition switch. It actually has issues where the stupid key won't come out unless you like reach up here and manually release it. Along with pretty much that's the one notable key problem. But yeah, apparently this is a super known problem on these cars. I think there's like one video out there on how to actually do this, but he doesn't really test anything, he just swaps it. So we're gonna try and do some diagnostic work here and see if we can't figure it out. But yeah, you'll see the key stuck in the ignition. The only way to get this puppy out is to reach up under here. I'm gonna do a tilt, reach up under here, find the release deal, which, oh my God. Oh my God, okay, hold on, I think we're finding problems already. I don't actually know where this is. This isn't my car. I just know that this is releasable. Why is that hot? Okay, that's out. I think I may have already answered my own questions. So real quick, I've already got this whole thing buttoned back up together. Everything works. Blower motor works fine. All the settings, AC works, digital readout works. And I'll show that, but I just want to do a quick synopsis of what would have been the most efficient way of diagnosing this, because it can be so many different things. As opposed to pulling the lower panels here to get to the ignition bundle right out of the gate, I'll show, if you go to this fuse panel over here, there's a 20 amp fuse that runs the HVAC and the digital information cluster. So you're going to want to test that fuse. See if that fuse is getting a steady 12 volts. It may get it at one point. Mine showed it a few times, which is why it would intermittently work, but the moment you try to put a load on it, it would short out and drop to like 5 volts. So that's how you can determine that it's your ignition switch right out of the gate. In the case of this car, it ended up being that and the resistor for the blower fan. But that's going to be the first place to start in diagnostics. It's actually, if you open the glove box, it's behind this panel right here, and I'll show you. I actually do end up testing that at one point, but I got a little squirrely, so I'm gonna have to cut the video to show different parts. I tried to pull this harness at first and test it for continuity, but it turns out that it's actually internal to the switch where the failure was happening. So I could not replicate it to do a continuity test. So start with the fuse. The fuse will tell you if you need to swap this entire little harness in here, and then go from there. Whenever I pulled the resistor from the blower motor, it was broken, and you'll see that if you get to that part of the video. But ultimately, it can be a multitude of things. It can be the harness, it can be the blower fan, or it can be the blower resistor. The case of this one, it ended up being the harness and the resistor, so I'll tackle both of those and show you how to get to all three. But yeah, needless to say, there's a pretty quick and easy test to do it. It took me a minute to figure it out, though. I had to look at some wiring diagrams. It's not a whole lot of information on it out there, but remember, in the glove box behind that fuse panel, read the diagram. It's at the bottom, 20 amp fuse, HVAC DIC. This is what you're looking for. All right, time to do some diagnostics here. So we found when we pulled the blower motor resistor that the resistor was completely broken and burnt up. Replaced the blower motor resistor, which I will show how to do in the video here. I actually jumped the blower motor itself with 12 volts on the bench because I had that removed as well, and it kicked over just fine. So we know the blower motor is fine. We know the blower motor resistor is brand new. All right, so I checked the power supply to the resistor, and the 12 hot that's always there is constant. Let me check something over here real quick though. This goes up here like this, power window, seat, headlamp. So this 10 millimeter or 10 amp fuse here, 10 millimeter. There's our problem. Let me see if I can't get this down here to video. All right, so you can see this voltmeter here. So this 10 amp fuse here should have 12 volts on it. Should be a 12. Oh, it's at 12 volts now. Weird. Okay. 12.2 volts. Well, not at all. Right? Well, now it's at 0.28 volts. 0.29 volts. .29 volts. As soon as I turn this off, .6, 4.7, 4.8, 4.9, 5 volts, not 12. See? Let's go back down here. 5 volts. This fuse, okay. Now, if you remember, this digital information cluster up here turns off every time you try and hit that blower motor fan switch. Now, if you look on here, this fuse is the digital information cluster / HVAC fuse. Where does that fuse get its power? That fuse gets its power from that ignition switch, which means that harness feeding this fuse is having an issue. Once it gets a load on it from flipping that switch, it does not produce 12 volts where it needs to produce 12 volts. So we're gonna pull that harness now. All right, we're gonna start by removing these push pins and the fork. Get this fancy carpet panel off. Heck yeah. Let's go ahead and replace this. These light bulbs are incandescent because it's old, so I like to unplug them just because they get hot. So you'll see, I just unplugged the light bulb right there, threw it down on the ground. I'm actually gonna put it over here where I put the one for the passenger side because I don't want it to get stepped on and broken. Although I do have a replacement. Where's my 7 mil? There it is. So now you'll see this panel here. Got a 7 mil here and a 7 mil over here, right there. Let's take those out. See what else we gotta do to get this panel off. Idiot. Forgot the old guy was in here checking grounds earlier, so he left it on Titan. I'll tell you what, I was really excited about this new Milwaukee ratchet here, but it's a lot harder to wield using the camera in one hand, that's for damn sure. So this pulls straight out, it looks like. Yeah. So if you look, it's got metal clips. This pulls directly out towards you to get it off. All right, so this is off. Let's get this metal plate off here. Looks like it's in the way. All right, you see I pulled 7 mil, 7 mil, 7 mil, 7 mil. If you look up through this hole, there's a 10 mil there and a 10 mil there on both sides. So I'm gonna have to go get a 10 mil, be back in a flat. Okay, back here with the correct tools. So we're gonna start by pulling this panel here. It's a T20. One, and there's a second one for sure in here. There's 2. It doesn't seem like there's any more. So now we gotta figure out how to get this puppy a pot. There we go. There we go. There. This, I think, just pulls out maybe. That's how these normally work. Ah, yeah, got it. Look at that. This off. Get this whole daggum thing exposed. I'm gonna have to set this down here. Going up to this 4 10 mils now to get this panel out. Out of our way. Okay. First step when you're working on any electronics, it's good practice to take off the battery. Okay, 7 millimeter in the center, unscrews it, pops right out of there. Now we gotta get the top side free, so we'll start. What even is this? So this is one of the most silly things I think I've ever seen in all car designs I've ever worked on. So it looks like to get this top plastic off, at least I'm pretty sure, got an 8 millimeter to hold this plastic spacer thing, and this one feels a little too big, so I hope it works. We got it. That is an inverted Torx. I used an E6 for that guy. So that got that out. Do I have to hold one down on this side too, or what? Doesn't look like it. Looks like it just came right out and out of there. Hell yeah. Okay, so that's that. So that, in theory, I think, from what I can tell at least, should allow. I'm gonna pull this back. This is the tilt doodader. Allow this plastic to come off? Question mark. It's way looser, so that's promising. Oh, there we go. Come on, come on, come on, baby. Oh, ho, ho. Look at this goofy ass thing. Oh my God! Do you see how that works? Look, you're supposed to screw this in with an 8mm. It's like a spacer deal till it's tight. 8mm wrench, and then you shoot that inverted Torx into the... Is that how that's supposed to be, or did somebody add that post? That is the weirdest thing I've ever seen. Well, why would... Who would... But why would... I don't even know. Okay. So, next step here in removing the ignition harness is getting this key out. So you'll see there's a small hole right here on the very top of the cylinder. So what we're gonna do, I'm gonna throw this on my head, this band, and stick a 90-degree pick in here, turn this into the start position, and try and press. Oh yeah, that fits in there fine. So, what a weird one, man. So it always feels slick when you pull the ignition switch out, but I've never seen one where you had to crank it to the start position before. That is ridiculous. So, what does this come off? This is the transponder reader. It just pops right off of there, okay. Well, back with the E5 inverted Torx. I had to run up to the store and get one. Most kits don't actually go that small, but luckily, O'Reilly's had a set that did. Take that one out. I'm gonna flip you upside down here. Now, let's see what happens. I'm not figured out how that comes out yet. There we go. Okay, how does this plug unplug? It's got little tabs on it. What I'm thinking I can do here, bear with me, thinking I can get a better view of this by just releasing this tab, pulling this thing like this. See, now we'll get a better look at, aha, so this is a back side. You pop it up and then release it. Oof, okay. Okay. Let me unplug that one. Okay. That's weird. Okay. Mobilizer. And orange on the red. Okay. Okay. And now this is on the bottom, orange side on the red. Right. Okay. This one goes on the top. Okay. These go through the sides, they're already in. The new one. Okay. Sweet. This gets this immobilizer plugged into it. Like that. Okay. Do one of these. Okay. Okay. Now we'll put this in here like so. Oh, you joking my ass? Oh, are you kidding me right now? All right, so the screw part of this is heavier than the head part of this, which is an E5, which is making this quite the nightmare to try and carefully fish up in there, but got it. Oh my God, what? All right, that's in. See how this stupid thing goes in here though, huh? I haven't figured this one out quite yet. Oh, it turns in. Oh. So you spin it to get it. Oh my God, okay. That makes so much sense. Now that I need to figure out. I think I need a way bigger screwdriver maybe. Or this pick will possibly, no. Ooh, but this wrench might. Nope, maybe this part of it. There we go. And it's in. So that's in. This is in, that's in. Okay. This has to go over this. However the hell that does, like that. Okay. That's exactly how that was in there. Okay. Now, hell yeah, okay. Get this plugged in here. Oh.
Okay, let's see what happens.
DIC's up. Fan fucking works.
Co-founded deer antler.
Oh yeah.
Tell Shane what you saw.
Alright guys, I know it was a long video, but there was a lot of information to cover there. Hopefully that will allow you to diagnose where your problem lies in your setup. But here I am in the car, running. Everything's working. Fan speeds all work. It's actually quite nice. So the only thing I will add, obviously you took all this stuff apart. You should be able to put all the plastics back together. Just make sure you reroute your ignition wire good. If you mount it too low, this lower plastic here underneath the ignition on the column, it can get in the way of that. I actually fought that for a split second. But otherwise, yeah, it's really not that bad of a job once you figure it all out. I had a hard time getting information. Finally had to look at the diagram, go through all the circuits to figure out what could possibly be causing the problem. But it's pretty easy to test once you know what you're looking at. So, and the change isn't that hard. Just make sure you swap out those couple of plugs, or the two plugs that go on top of the big harness plug, and make sure you put it in the correct orientation when you plug it back in. Otherwise though, it's not too bad of a gig, man. Also, look, the headlights are working now. They used to not work on auto. They would only work if you manually turned them on. So looks like this knocked out a whole lot of problems that we were having. So